Hello everyone, this is just another quick bonus video. In this little video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the best sword in both Battle of Olympus, the Game Boy version, which I'm going to be doing first, and then the best sword in the NES version, and also showcasing what it can do. I had a request to do so I'll do a small video. Basically, all you have to do to get it is 35 olives in the Game Boy version and 70 olives in the NES one. Now, I probably could have gotten the Game Boy one and still been able to pretty much have a pretty quick run. I just decided against it just because it pretty much made the Game Boy run exactly like my NES run of the game. But to get to it, it's very simple. All I do is head to the left on these cliffs, watch out for the stupid monkeys that take away like a ton of health, and they're even harder to deal with in the Game Boy version than they were in the NES. Wait for it to go over, okay, now jump across, watch out for a couple small bugs. Get to this cliff over here, there's a door, and it's another temple, like pretty much the only temple I didn't enter throughout the run. And yes, I will take the sword gladly for 35 olives only. A little bit of chat tells you about how to get to the waterfall, if you didn't know how to get to the secret entrance, which is located in the waterfall area, where we would go and not only get a piece of the heart, but also get the golden apple. But as you can see, what this weapon does that's so special about it is it shoots a lightning bolt out of it. Now, as you also can see, it takes away some health every time you do it. Now, when you get the power bracelet later in the game, it doesn't hurt you anymore to use the lightning, so you can just keep using it. But for some reason, like, at least defaultly in the Game Boy version, the lightning bolt takes 2 lightning bolts to kill the monkeys, whereas the NES version, as you'll see, it'll take 1 to take out those enemies. But since it actually ends up hurting you, it's really not beneficial at all until you actually do get the power bracelet, which isn't too much farther than this, but until you get it, it's really not worth having the sword, or at least using that ability of the sword. So let's switch over now to the NES version, and I'm just going to pick it up right where I was. It's kind of weird to see the black and white transition to the colored version of the NES, and just seeing how bright and vibrant, the game looked originally. But, the Game Boy port was a pretty decent port of an NES title. You gotta give them credit for that, even though it did have some flaws in it, some graphical glitches and some other things that got on my nerves a little bit. But this is the exact same path as it was in the NES version. Jump over these cliffs, watch out for the same birds, same monkeys. Gonna watch out for the same 2 exact bugs, get over, which took me a little bit less time to get over here this time because it's just so much easier to deal with some of the enemies, and the hit detection's a lot better in the NES version. But in this one, I have to pay 70 olives in order to get the best weapon in the game. Yes, I know about the waterfall. Drops the sword, pick it up, and go ahead and equip it real quick. And you can see that, it's a nice, actually pretty nice looking sword, the blue, or, teal-esque, hilt of the sword and all that, so that's pretty cool. And just like the sword beforehand, like I showed in the Game Boy version, it shoots a lightning bolt. And but every time you do it, you lose health, just like that one. But so it's really not beneficial either to use it. It seemingly hurts me less in the NES version than the Game Boy version, but that's because the meters, I think, are a little bit different from one another. Also, in this point in the game, I had already gone through and picked up all my power-ups pretty much before I went ahead and collected the olives in order to buy the sword, so I have more health than I did when I was just doing that little bit of Game Boy gameplay. So there you go, that is the best weapon in Battle of Olympus for the Game Boy and for the NES. And while I have your attention and have this bonus video going, I might as well just throw in a couple small things. I'm going to try to get another play it through done for this week, maybe later in the week. Maybe it's just going to be something small if I do anything. Right now I not only of course am working, but I am trying to get done Castlevania 1, 2, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Sweet Home for the month of October. Sweet Home is, of course, an RPG horror game, so it will be my first RPG run. I don't do many RPGs, I kind of leave it to other people, but Sweet Home is a very unique game. If you've never heard of it, check out some information online about it before I go ahead and do my play-it-through of it. Play it yourself if you want, or, play along when I start doing the guide that I will be doing in October. Hopefully that turns out pretty interesting. I know it's an RPG, so it can get a little bit boring, but I'll try to keep it as quick and as up-tempo as I possibly can during the course of that run. I'm also shooting a couple intros, hopefully, for the Halloween-esque theme of the month of October, and hopefully they'll be done in time for my October play-it-throughs. I would like to thank you for watching this bonus video for Battle of Olympus, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.